Chapter 381, Killed by His Own Attack. Song Shi frowned. Of course you would assume that. But you've never been to the heavenly demon world. Are you sure they're not interested in this world? Like you've been there? Emperor Li scoffed. Song Shi wanted to say that he had really been there. Emperor Qian, who was at the side, seemed to have received some news. His expression was extremely ugly as he said, "Damn it, the spatial passageway sealed under the Imperial City has been shattered. A large amount of demonic qi has been released. Many living people have been corroded by the demonic qi and turned crazy. Now that the Imperial City is in chaos, it has already become hell on earth." He was furious and pointed at Emperor Li. "It's all your fault. Tens of millions of lives in the Imperial City could killed all because of you." Song Shi's frown deepened. Even without going over to take a look, he knew that the situation in the Imperial City was very bad. Demonic qi was a strange energy that even cultivators might not be able to withstand. He had personally experienced it before. Before even fusing with it, it already caused him to explode. How could an ordinary person withstand it? Weaklings don't have the right to survive. If they die, so be it. What can you do, Tome? Emperor Li smiled smugly. He felt that this move was very successful and would definitely cause great damage to Great Qian. What a bunch of barbarians! Emperor Qian's eyes were filled with killing intent. He wished he could kill this fellow on the spot. A large portion of Great Qian's forces were concentrated in the Imperial City. With this, it was equivalent to being crippled. Soon, we barbarians will occupy the land of you sanctimonious people and snatch your women. Emperor Li grinned hideously. Your Majesty, the demonic qi in the Imperial City has erupted. We have to go back and defend. We can't lose the Imperial City. Virtuous Phoenix King flew over anxiously. Now that the demonic qi had just erupted, there was still a chance to salvage the situation. If they returned too late, the entire base camp would be destroyed. Emperor Qian was a little hesitant. If he retreated now, the Li nation would occupy more land. However, if he did not retreat, he would not even have his hometown left. But it would be difficult for him to counterattack in the future. Your Majesty, where there's life there's hope, Virtuous Phoenix King advised. Emperor Qian sighed and exhaled. He said indignantly, Barbarian Li, I've underestimated the shamelessness of your Li nation this time. I'll let you be smug for a while. Haha, quickly go back and save those ants. I'll accept this territory graciously. Emperor Li laughed. To be able to take down a new piece of land so easily, even he admired his own ingenious plan. Emperor Qian left angrily. Seeing that Song Shi did not leave, Emperor Li sneered. Why? Do you still want to fight my million-man strong army? Song Shi looked at the latter expressionlessly. You're asking for a beating. It make me really want to try. Get lost, Emperor Li cursed. He did not believe that Song Shi would dare to attack them. Everyone here could drown this bastard with their saliva. Song Shi, follow me back to the Imperial City. We'll give up on the north for now. After flying for a distance, Emperor Qian turned around. Let them be arrogant for a while. There's no hurry. If I leave now, it'll be showing our weakness. I'm afraid the countries next to the other regions will then have other ideas. Song Shi shook his head. If every country used such a formation to invade Great Qian would definitely be divided. Now, they could not give others the illusion that they could invade as they pleased. On the contrary, he wanted to hurt this guy in front of him and completely cut off these people's designs on Great Qian. This was called throwing one punch to avoid 100 punches. You overestimate yourself. Do you think you're qualified to say that? Emperor Li raised his hand in disdain. Let him have a taste of our bow and teach him a lesson. A portion of the divine archers beside him immediately drew their bows. These archers were all cultivators, and their bows were Dharma artifacts. In the bow, the arrow erupted with light. The destructive power condensed on the arrow and shot out with the power to break through a cultivator's defense. Song Shi's eyes were cold, without a trace of fear. He looked down at the million-strong army and took out a golden talisman. He muttered to himself originally, this thing should be used to deal with demons or something. But you guys have a death wish, so I will use it in advance. I wonder how powerful is it? Swoosh! After injecting nomological power into the talisman and activating it, the talisman immediately burned and a dangerous aura surged. Emperor Li, who was originally complacent, immediately felt uneasy when he sensed the fluctuations released by the talisman. In the next moment, the talisman released destructive firepower. The scorching temperature melted the void at a speed visible to the naked eye. The nearby air distorted, and the clouds in the sky evaporated. The nearby spiritual key of heaven and earth vibrated and frantically gathered towards the talisman, adding to its power, causing the light of the talisman to become brighter and brighter. The power released formed a huge sun energy ball. Its size kept expanding, causing the entire world to become daytime, making it impossible for one to open their eyes. The huge fireball pressed down on the army, and the surrounding temperature difference formed a storm. It was huge and larger than the array formation on the ground. It was more than 100,000 feet tall. It was not an exaggeration to say that the sun had fallen. It was not a divine power that cultivators in this world could release. What is this? Emperor Li was sweating profusely as he looked at the scene that was like a scorching sun falling in horror. He had never seen such a terrifying attack since he was born. The power of heaven and earth crushed down like an endless mountain. Before the sun set, the array formation of the entire Li nation's army was crushed by the pressure. The mentality of the million-strong army collapsed on the spot. They could not escape in time. Under pairs of terrified gazes, they were swallowed by the power released by the falling sun and vaporized many people on the spot. Oh my God, it's so terrifying. Song Shi, who had thrown out the attack, was also frightened by this scene. Seeing the destructive aura spreading, he exclaimed, "Run quickly!" Emperor Qian and the others reacted and turned to leave without hesitation. Then, the entire sun expanded. They were like small black dots at the edge of the sun that could be swallowed at any time. Fortunately, since the talisman was not released at them, they managed to escape. The back of Emperor Qian's clothes were charred, and he still rushed out of the central area of the talisman's power. They looked back at the expanding fireball that was still expanding. Their hearts skipped a beat. What kind of talisman is this? It's definitely not something that can be refined in this world. Emperor Qian's tone was trembling. Your Majesty, why didn't he run out? Virtuous Phoenix King asked in a sorry state. His hair had been burned away, making him look a little comical. Since he used it, he should be able to deal with it. Don't worry about him. Emperor Qian shook his head and hurriedly said to his subordinates, "Everyone, pay attention. Go all out to deal with the aftershock of the explosion of the sun." Boom! At this moment, the sound of an explosion could be heard. The world suddenly darkened, as if an ancient divine beast was roaring. Amidst the sound avalanche, the ground in the distance rippled like water. The soil near the center of the sun easily melted into magma, and the surrounding vegetation instantly burned to ashes. Then, mixed with the broken soil and rocks, it turned into rows of gush like fire waves that spread. The entire pass trembled under this special wave. It looked like it would be drowned in the next moment. Fortunately, an array formation light rushed into the sky in time and blocked the aftershock with difficulty. Following that, the ground shook. Haha, I unlocked a new achievement. I was killed by my own attack. Song Shi smiled and advanced instead of retreating.